at the Global Chinese Dance Championship. Serena, the one I love isn't you, it's your sister, Lin. My fiancé deliberately broke our engagement right before I stepped on stage, shattering my focus so that I missed a beat. Just as expected, my adoptive sister took the Chinese dance gold medal. After the awards, I watched him carry the white roses that should have been mine and propose to my adoptive sister in front of everyone. Just as the sight sent my blood boiling, the boy I'd crushed on in high school, Sebastian, dropped to one knee in front of me. Serena, you've always been my goddess. I've loved you for years, marry me? 3 years later the championship rolled around again. This time I swore I would not lose to my adoptive sister. Yet mid-performance I felt a nail slice through my point shoe. I danced the entire piece through the pain, and by the curtain call the nail had shredded tendons and bone. While the anesthetic dulled me and Ellis fished the nail from my foot, I drifted in and out, catching 2 male voices. Never thought you'd outdo me, cripple her outright. Aren't you afraid she'll never dance again? Better if she can't. Then she'll stop robbing Lin of first place every time. If it keeps Lin happy, I don't mind being stuck with the frigid Serena. My blood reversed in my veins. The love I'd thought I'd found was just another lie. Since you're both so enamored of my adoptive sister, I'll let you have her. He gave a lazy laugh. What's wrong with Serena? She's a dancer. Her body bends any way you want. Even if she's cold ice, a few lessons will heat her up. Sebastian's voice cracked like frost. A perfect figure means nothing. My heart only has room for my white moon, Lin. I've had my fill of faking affection with Serena. His tone felt unreal. In 3 years of marriage I'd never heard him so cold. For 3 years Sebastian had whispered love, yet in the dark he sneered at my lack of passion. In bed I matched whatever he asked, swallowing pain without a sound, and still he never spared me a drop of pity. He never once raised his voice. For 3 years he indulged every tantrum, never flushed with anger. Not because he was gentle, because he never cared. Sebastian's words soured. You got the woman you wanted. Try pretending with Serena day after day and see how you like it. Jamie. Lin wanted me. I fought for her and finally put this ring on her finger. I wished it were a dream, but the fire in my foot told me every word was real. They betrayed me back to back, all for my adoptive sister, Lin. Sebastian snapped. Blake, without me diverting Serena's attention, do you think you'd have married Lin so easily? If Serena had thrown a tantrum in front of the press, Lin would have been labeled the homewrecker. The second anyone says a word against Lin, my heart bleeds. I'd never let her bear that name. My heart dripped blood. His proposal had only been a shield, so I wouldn't call Lin a mistress. To protect my adoptive sister, he'd marry a woman he loathed. Neither noticed the anesthetic wearing off. They went on complaining how marrying me poisoned Sebastian's days. Sebastian chuckled softly. If I finish the job on her foot this time, she'll never dance again. Lin's gold will be safe forever. The words stabbed me like 1,000 needles until I couldn't breathe. The salvation I'd clung to was only a deeper abyss. He exhaled in admiration. Sterling, you're even colder than I am. Sebastian frowned. Enough. Her anesthetic's almost worn off. Get out before she sees you. Voice low, he warned Blake. Blake, as long as Lin is happy, I'll do anything. If I ever hear you made her shed one tear, I'll destroy you. Every syllable sang of his love for Lin. Inside me, only desolation remained. For 3 years my devotion had been sincere. To him it was mere theater. Back then the world thought I'd traded up from him. Yet in the end I still couldn't rival a single strand of Lin's hair. I opened my burning eyes. Sebastian, I'm thirsty. It was the first time I hadn't called him, honey. Serena, you're awake? Panic and tenderness flooded his gaze as he hurried to pour water. Those small, perfect gestures that once moved me. Now I knew they were counterfeit. I pushed away the glass he lifted to my lips, voice hollow. Sebastian, why do I always lose to Lin? Am I that worthless? He stroked my hair. Serena, you're the best in my eyes. Don't cry, I know you've been wronged. If I find who put that nail in your shoe, I'll make them beg for death. His act was flawless, the arsonist crying arson with steady eyes. I let out a brittle laugh and shut my eyes. Will the culprit ever be found? He'd already paid off the organizers. I knew exactly what excuse would bury the truth. Looking back, every competition of the past 3 years had gone wrong. Costumes ripped, entrances delayed, all his quiet handiwork. A month ago he'd cooed. Serena, we've been married 3 years. Let's make a baby. But I was training for the biggest contest of my career, on the verge of a breakthrough, and I refused without pause. When I said no, he turned icy. Serena, do I matter at all to you? I only want a child. Why is that so impossible? We'd been locked in a Cold War ever since. Only after I promised to try for a baby, right after the World Championship, did he thaw. Now I understood. He wanted me pregnant so I'd withdraw from the contest, not because he dreamed of a child with me. He'd tailored everything so Lynn could walk away with the gold medal. Seeing the defeat on my face, he soothed me gently. Serena, you'll have other chances. Besides, the champion is your sister. You should be happy for her. My voice was ice. Sebastian, are you in love with my adoptive sister? A flicker of panic crossed his eyes. He stammered for a long time, never quite denying it, and I knew. He collected himself, the polished prince sliding back into place, and smiled. Serena, you're the only one I see. Your sister is my sister, that's all. He leaned in to brush my forehead with a kiss. Instinctively, I turned away. The air crystallized with awkwardness. Don't overthink it, he said stiffly. Rest. I'll be right outside. The moment he left, tears spilled down my cheeks. 3 wasted years. I pressed a hand to my stomach. Terrible timing for a baby. Lynn sauntered in, trophy glinting in her hand. Big sister, how does it feel to lose to me again? Doesn't taste good, does it? I clenched my fists, swallowing rage. Lynn, the Vance family gave you everything. I never treated you badly. Why? She laughed. If you hadn't come home and stolen Mom and Dad's love, everything you have would be mine. Once you can't dance, the spotlight comes back to me. Coldly I said, then beat me fair and square on the stage. She looked down her nose. I don't need to. Sebastian will do anything for me. Why wouldn't I use him? Sebastian fusses over me more, poor guy. I can't help being adorable. Tea-scented poison. I bit back fury. Coward. You're afraid you can't outdance me, so you play dirty. One day I'll grind you into the floor of a Chinese dance stage. She giggled, hair-raisingly sweet. Really? You'll never get the chance. I glanced around. The ward was eerily silent, just Lynn and me. Panic flared. What are you planning? I tried to stand and found my limbs like lead. She clapped. Several men in scrubs stepped inside. Relax, sis. This serum won't kill you. It'll just speed your recovery. Pricey stuff. The leader's mask hid his face, but the fox-bright eyes were Sebastian's. He lifted a thick syringe, moving toward me like a nightmare. Tremors rattled my bones. I shook my head frantically. Don't. I won't compete with her anymore, I swear. Please. I tore away his mask. Sebastian, I know it's you. Don't do this. His fingers hesitated. The assistant behind him murmured. Are we really doing this? She's the Vance heiress. Lynn cooed. Sebastian, you promised me the world. This serum only paralyzes her legs for a while. After my grand slam, she can walk again. Sebastian's brows relaxed. Miss, you've mistaken me for someone else. The drug will only weaken your feet temporarily. I begged until my voice cracked. Rowan, close your eyes. It'll be quick. Hatred blazed through my tears. I'm your wife, Sebastian. You're driving me to hell. My baby, please, it could hurt. Thinking of the life inside me, I thrashed, blood-slick feet kicking at him. He watched detached as his men pinned me. I'm Serena. The family will ruin you. I cursed, pleaded, bargained. Nothing moved them. They obeyed Lynn. I surrendered. Lynn, I'll withdraw from every upcoming competition. I'll leave the Vance mansion disappear. Let me go. Arms folded, she looked down from her pedestal. That's how you beg. My shoe's dusty. Crawl over and lick it clean. Maybe I'll think about it. I hesitated, then slid off the bed. Every eye in the room mocked me, but for my child I would do anything. My knees struck the marble with a heavy knock. I crawled, wiped her patent leather spotless, and lifted a pleading gaze. Deliberately she scuffed the toe again. Useless. Can't even polish a shoe. Hurry, before the Vance elders come back. They hauled me onto the gurney. I stared at Sebastian through a veil of tears. I'll hate you forever. Don't ever forget this moment. Something in his chest twisted, an ache like something precious slipping away, but the thought of Lynn's victory hardened him again. Sorry, Serena. I'll make it up to you, I swear. I barely heard the promise. Sebastian, we no longer have a future. When I woke, my calves were dead weight. I'd been moved to Vance Memorial Hospital, and the doctor's words were a blade to the heart. Rowan, the baby was still too small, we couldn't save it. In that instant my tears spilled uncontrollably, grief pounding through my fists as I beat my numb calves again and again. Baby, Mommy failed you. Mommy couldn't keep you safe. Even more wretched, the killer was your own father. I wiped the tears away. The hatred flaming in my eyes snapped me upright. Ellis, is there any way I can dance again? This doctor was my most trusted ally. Yes, Rowan, but the process will be agony. My glare turned razor sharp. I can take it. Just then Lynn shoved the door open, gloating. Big sis, you'll never beat me in this lifetime. I answered coldly, get lost. I don't want to see your face. Sis, I came out of kindness. How can you treat me like this? She put on a perfect pout. Lynn, you're nothing but a lapdog the Vance family adopted. How long do you think you can keep wagging your tail? My words enraged her. She lunged to hit me, forgetting this hospital belonged to me. My people pinned her back. Hearing approaching footsteps, she suddenly threw herself to the floor. It hurts. Sis, I didn't mean for you to lose dance. I can't help it if you twisted my ankle on purpose. Sebastian strode in, guilt written across his face. But one look at Lynn crumpled and pitiful erased every trace of remorse. He glared at me savagely. Serena, I didn't know you were this vicious. Lynn came here in good faith. Watching him fuss over her, I laughed bitterly. My only regret is begging Mom and Dad to let the Vances keep her. Ignoring my weakness, he yanked me from the bed and forced me to kowtow to Lynn, for needles still in my hand. He didn't stop until my parents stepped inside. After they left, I dialed a number. Make the arrangements, 3 days. Back at the mansion, Sebastian greeted me, beaming. Serena, Lynn's throwing her victory gala tonight. Put on some makeup, quit looking half dead. He acted as if nothing had happened. I stared at him, ice in my eyes. Sure, I've prepared a big gift for both of you. Uneasy, he added. Serena, behave and I'll treat you better from now on. I didn't bother answering. There was no need to keep playing loving spouses. He might not be tired of the pretense, but I was already nauseated. At the party, I overheard Lynn coo to Sebastian. Sebastian, thanks for clearing the road for me. He's away on business, so I don't have to rush home tonight. The invitation in her voice couldn't have been clearer. Sebastian didn't refuse. Exactly what I expected. He gazed at her with naked devotion. One flirtatious crumb from Lynn, and he would wag his tail like a hound, even if it meant ripping me apart. Under every flashing camera, I stepped forward, brushed past Sebastian, and slapped Lynn hard. Shameless tramp, married yourself, yet sniffing around your sister's husband. Are you so starved for love that you'll even steal your sister's man? Instantly, every reporter's lens swung toward her. My God, the Chinese dance gold medal girl's private life is a sewer. Her own brother-in-law. She knew he was taken and still dove in. Lynn froze, reflexively hiding her face from the glare. Sebastian shoved me aside. Serena, there's nothing between your sister and me. Quit slandering us. I gave a thin laugh and produced the evidence. Intimate bed photos and thousands of suggestive texts. The ballroom exploded. Lynn stood crucified by 1,000 whispers. Sebastian stared at me, devastated. Serena, she's your sister. Do you have to destroy her? I admitted it outright. Yes. I'm going to burn her to the ground. He frowned. Why? Sebastian, you and I once had a child. His eyes bulged in disbelief. Serena, tell me that's a lie, right? He dropped to his knees, clutching my hand, pleading over and over. I said nothing. Tears streamed down my cheeks. He had murdered his own flesh and blood. No, impossible. I went on. You killed him. Since you're so crazy about my adoptive, she's all yours. I'm setting you free. I tossed the divorce papers at his feet and walked away. Sebastian refused to believe it, until he spotted the positive pregnancy test on the floor, his voice shaking. What is this? What kind of monster had he become? He raced to the hospital and sent the drug I'd been injected with for testing. It was loaded with musk extract. Yet Lynn had sworn the serum would only sap Serena's strength for a little while. He rushed home to find me, but every trace of my existence had vanished. Only a single letter remained. Sebastian, if I could live it again, I'd never accept your proposal. I hate you. A few words, every stroke dripping venom. On the desk lay the walkaway settlement, my miscarriage record, and the court summons. He stared at them, paralyzed, unable to breathe. He still couldn't accept it. Sure, I was only punishing him for siding with Lynn. Lynn stroked his arm. Brother-in-law, relax, big sis is just throwing a tantrum. Sebastian's heart jittered. You think so? Of course, she can't live without you. Yet the unease refused to leave him. He seized Lynn by the throat. Lynn, did you honestly not know Serena was pregnant? Did you smash that syringe on purpose? Had you planned it all along? I misjudged you completely. I never thought you could be so vicious. Lynn shook her head frantically, but Sebastian's eyes were pure frenzy. When he finally let go, she bolted as if terror itself were chasing her. He tore through the mansion searching for me, slipped, and gashed his leg on broken glass littering the floor. Watching the blood from a shallow cut, he couldn't bear to imagine how much pain I'd felt when a nail had been driven into my foot. I had endured agony, lost the ability to dance, failed to protect my unborn child. At last he found something that had once been mine, my engagement ring, tossed in the trash. He had chosen the design because it was a style Lynn loved. I had never taken it off. Now I had thrown it away like garbage. Just like I had discarded him, refused, forsaken, finished. Remembering everything he had done, if he'd truly never loved me, why did his chest feel shredded now? Understanding slammed into him. He fed the divorce papers into the shredder. No divorce, not ever. Not even death would make him sign. The world learned every crime Lynn had committed, and she fled to the Vance ancestral estate to beg for rescue. But my parents already knew the whole story. They drove her from the gates. Within hours, a single headline blazed across social media. Prodigy Chinese dance champion Serena betrayed. I heard Lynn got kicked out with nothing, not even a change of underwear. Who knew her private life was such a mess? Yesterday she was Riverdale's golden heiress. Today she's a street corner beggar. She messed with the real Vance heiress, totally deserved. When her husband realized she was worthless, he cut her loose. The gates of the Harrington family mansion slammed shut behind her as well. At the airport, Lynn spotted Sebastian, hollow-eyed and unshaven. Sebastian, you're the only one I have left. If she truly loved you, she wouldn't have walked away. Unlike me, I'm not your wife, but I'll stay by your side forever. In the past, those words had sounded sweet. He'd even taken them as proof that Lynn's heart held a corner reserved for him. Now they stabbed like a splinter under skin. He stared at her with Arctic coldness. Lynn, what gives you the right to speak about my wife? You lost everything because you sowed every seed of ruin, and I'll spend my life atoning to Serena. From this moment we are strangers. When I find Serena, you will kneel and confess every crime. If you refuse, I'll make sure you can't survive in Eastbrook. Lynn hadn't expected the man who once spoiled her beyond reason to speak like this. She laughed wildly. Sebastian, what fantasy are you nursing? Have you forgotten? You're the one who pressed the syringe and killed her child. Or did you forget the nails you slipped into her point shoes? And you still dream she'll forgive you? That makes you even more deluded than me. Every sentence hammered into him like another nail. He couldn't fathom how I had survived the torment. My passion for dance murdered, my baby stolen, yet kept breathing. All he could do was find me and offer whatever scraps of recompense remained. Sebastian set off without hesitation, convinced that if he humbled himself, I might overlook the past. Taylor, he flew straight to Paris and commissioned a couture ring designed exactly to my taste. So he had always known what kind of engagement ring I truly wanted. He returned to the Vance ancestral estate and knelt outside beneath a torrential downpour. Please tell me where Serena is. The iron gates stayed barred, silent. 3 days later, armed with the velvet box, he launched a city-by-city search. Every street we had walked, every shoreline I had loved. He found no trace. Under the scorching sun he crouched, clutching the only photo that still showed my smile, a grown man sobbing like a lost child. He finally asked himself what blindness had gripped him for years, making him forsake a brilliant wife to pamper a dark-hearted Lynn, again and again, until even our 3-month-old child paid with its life. Strangers stared, but he paid no heed. Redemption was the only coordinate left on his map. He didn't know the bill was already stamped, paid in full, yet still unpayable. Long before, I had shifted most of the Vance fortune overseas. By the time he noticed, the corporate headquarters echoed empty. To buy even a rumor of my whereabouts, he had to pay a price that swallowed everything. The underworld broker stated, Serena's location costs every dollar you will ever earn for the rest of your life. Deal. No hesitation. When I finally saw him, travel wrinkled, holding the ring I once would have died for, dropped to one knee, I felt nothing. He rasped, Serena, I was wrong. I threw everything away searching for you. I own nothing now. Can we start over? Coldly I answered, no. When I turned to leave, he seized my wrist. He crawled forward, knees scraping concrete. Serena, I know hell is all I deserve, but let me stay, servant, slave, anything, because I'm already ruined. Disgust flickered across my face. Your pain isn't 1/10,000th of what I felt when our child died inside me. Serena, for 3 years I cared for you without a single lapse. Just hear me. Serena, I mistook indulgence for love, but losing you taught me. Every heartbeat without you is suffocation. Please. I let out a cold laugh. Taking care of me? Smiling in public while you whine to your buddies that I'm frigid. Was that the plan? His face drained of color. What you knew? Every memory rushed back and my eyes stung. Yes, I've always known. You married me for Lynn. To hand her the gold medal you smashed my leg, and the baby inside me. Tell me, how am I supposed to forgive that? I sobbed the words out. He stood frozen. Leave. I never want to see you again. He tried to speak, voice cracking. Serena, it's all my fault. Enough. I cut him off. Sebastian, don't make me strip the last shred of decency off you. Nothing seemed to scare him anymore. He only wanted me back. Serena, please, I'm begging. Give me one more chance. I'll spend my life as your slave. You want children, right? We have decades ahead. Have as many as you wish. His promise stopped me mid-step, and when I spoke again my voice was hoarse. Sebastian, I once loved you enough to bear your children. But you stole the dance that was my pride, and you stole our only child. If you truly want absolution, then go die. The moment the words left my lips he collapsed, dazed. Is death really the only way you'll forgive me? I gave no answer, just turned and walked away. This time he didn't try to stop me. I couldn't stand the sight of him, so I moved that very night. After that my days were filled with rehab, travel, quiet sunsets. The bones in my foot slowly mended, and he never showed up to block my path again. Only once an anonymous parcel arrived, empty except for an engagement ring. I didn't hesitate, I sent it straight back. That evening an unknown number called. It was Sebastian. His voice was exhausted. Serena, whatever you want, I'll make it happen. I'm going to make every person who hurt you pay the price. He hung up before I could reply. My phone began to buzz nonstop. Every headline had exploded. It was Lynn's confession video. Her eyes were dead, her dancer's spine curved like a broken swan. She admitted everything. Cheating her way to the global title, plotting murder. After arrest, she was sentenced to life without parole. I watched it all and felt nothing. At that instant I knew I was finally free. The clean, swift justice reeked of Sebastian's handiwork. Serena, this is the last thing I can do for you. Vengeance for our little baby. I'm sorry, it was my fault you lost the world title. I've lined up the planet's best orthopedic surgeon for you. In 3 years you'll stand on that world stage again. I can't stay beside you in this life. In the next I'll be your ox, your horse, whatever you need to atone. A flicker of suspicion crossed my mind when I read those lines. Was he thinking of doing something irreparable to himself? 3 years later I entered the global Chinese dance competition once more. I cut through every rival and claimed the gold. While crowds cheered, my gaze drifted to a white-haired man in the corner, eyes locked on me. Sebastian. He limped over. 3 years had aged him decades. Serena, I honestly congratulate you on the championship. I answered, ice in my throat. I don't want to see you. Stay out of my life forever. My words, sharp as ever, made his voice break. Serena, I swear, just one chance and I'll spend my life making it up to you. You have no idea how I've suffered. Without you, life felt meaningless. If I hadn't clung to the hope of seeing you crowned, I might not have survived. Looking at his haggard devotion, I spoke calmly. Sebastian, so what? You think a little suffering can smooth away the scars you carved? Even if every other man on earth vanished, I still wouldn't choose you. The blood seemed to freeze in his veins. Head high, I swept past him, championship trophy in hand. From that day on my life would only brighten. But Sebastian did what no one foresaw. He clambered onto a window ledge. Wind billowed his coat as he cried out in despair. Serena, I've done too much wrong. My heart will always be yours. In the next life I'll treat you right. Serena, please look back at me. His voice, raw and pleading, came from behind me, but I never turned. Everyone chooses their own fate. He'd sown this end himself. By the time the ambulance arrived, he was already gone. And I truly began anew, meeting the man who was meant for me. The past felt like a distant dream. Thank you for listening. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this story? If it moved you, like and share it with friends. Tell us your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more unforgettable tales. See you next time.